Good afternoon and welcome. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. Just got busy tidying a few things up and lost track of time. So as I said, welcome. My name is Michelle Dutrissa and I'm an independent demonstrator in New South Wales. So if you'd like to pop on and let me know that you're watching, that would be great. Well, today we're going to have a roll of the dice. A friend of mine, Bryony, has requested this, so I hope she's on here today or will be watching it later on. So I'm going to flip this camera over so we can get started, and let's roll the dice and see what sort of card we're going to make today. Okay, won't be one moment. Okay, so I've got my dice, so we're going to roll the dice. I'm going to do one at a time and see what we come up with. Okay. Oh, we're going to do a memories and more card today. Okay. And well, that's going to be interesting. So I've only got one pack of memories and more cards here, and that is using this one here. So we might not be able to play the neutrals. We may have to just play what we've got here. So let's just see what else we come up with. Bit of sponging. Well, we might be able to do that. So I don't know whether my camera has frozen or not. No, it looks all good. Okay, a bit of ribbon. Yes, we can do that. And what sort of card are we going to make? A For You card. Okay, so I just happen to have my memories and more cards handy because I keep them in my trolley here next to me. So we're going to pull out these. Now the ones I've got here are the hand-penned memories and more. So we've got all those, and when I open my pack, I always keep them in one of these plastic containers, which you can get from your annual catalogue. They come in packs of 4, I believe, and they're really great for storage. So we're going to use those. So we're going to do a bit of sponging. So I've got my brushes handy. We need some ribbon. Okay, so I'll work that one out in a moment. And we're going to do For You. So let me just grab a stamp set that I have got a For You in. Don't think I've got one here handy. So what's this one here? Has this got a For You in it? No. So let me just grab one. Won't be 1 second. Here's one just for you. Okay. Going to use the sentiment out of Etched in Nature. So let's see what we've got. We need just gotta pull a few things out here. So let me just have a look, see if I've got, actually I do have some cards we can use. Okay then. They're the card bases that go with the memories and more. So that's going to work out well. So we need card base and an envelope. Okay, whoops, we don't need 2 envelopes. Pop that one aside. Now, the memories and more cards in the hand penned have these beautiful matching note cards and envelopes that you can purchase to go with them, and they're already beautifully decorated. So lovely to go for any card. So I'll grab some ribbon in a minute. So we're going to do the For You. We've got memories and more. Bit of sponging. That's going to be interesting. And some ribbon and neutrals. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the neutrals because the hand penned is all pretty already. The beauty of these cards here, you can just very quickly make cards by, this one here, for example, adhering that onto there. Now these cards here are a 4x6, which will fit into your Memories and More albums. But they've made the cards that they've made specifically for these, so then you can just adhere that straight down without doing too much work to it. So but we're going to do a little bit more than that, so let's just have a look through these and see what we can use to see if there's anything that we can put in. We could do a bit of sponging on that one. Let's have a look. You can also get the cards packs in the Memories and More that are already just in plain white, which is good. But I'm just trying to work out how we can do a bit of sponging as well as, but we could colour those in, but it's not going to work with that neutrals. Just keep having a bit of a look through these cards and see what else that I have here that I've got left. You also get stickers that go with these cards, so you can always add stickers to make them quite a lot quicker as well, and putting together your card ideas. There's another one which is a blankish sort of one. Just having a bit of a look through these just to see what else we've got. So far I'm sort of heading towards using maybe those. Just pop those over there. Or we might even pick out, make a different card base yet. It's the only thing that throws me when I do this. Oh, that's quite nice. It's not really in your neutrals because that's the cinnamon cider. But you could do a neutrals base with that. Could even do that on that. And if we change all of that, let's just keep having a bit of a look. So we could very easily just make up our own card base, which would be slightly smaller. Bring in some neutrals that way. I think we might do that, which means we probably won't use this or that. We might use those. Now, if we're going to go into neutrals, we could do... Okay, let's bring in some neutral colours and see what we've got. One of our neutral tonings. And that's some soft suede. Okay, I'm sort of thinking I would like to bring in a little bit more of that, even though that cinnamon cider isn't a neutral. Let's just have a look, and I don't like it with that soft suede, so let's have a look what else we've got. But I do like it with that one, so that's with the Early Espresso. Okay, so we could do something along those tonings. But then our For You is not going to really go with that sentiment, is it? Okay, we may have to change that yet. It's the only thing with throwing the dice, it really does make you have to sort of wonder, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? If we went that, we could go completely different. I'm someone who likes to have everything pre-organised what she's going to do, so this has actually thrown me a little bit, which is good. Really sort of makes me think a little bit. I think I might take the cinnamon cider out because I don't really think that's going to be too bright. And we need some inks. So in the neutrals we've got Merry Mellow. You can add a little bit of Mossy Meadow. I could even add a little bit of Night of Navy. Grab the Early Espresso. Okay, and I do have soft suede here, and I just so I've got it a bit of crumb cake. Okay, so they're the colours I'm going to try and work with. This is the base I think we're going to try to work with, and let's see what we come up with. So we'll just pop those to one side. Get rid of all of that for the moment. So today's one is going to be a real challenge. And I'm probably going to need another piece of crumb cake. So let's cut our card base. Okay, let's cut this one again at, score it first at 14.9. Which is our halfway. Yes, that one's going to work out. Oh, had me questioning myself there. And then we're going to cut that at that 10.5. Okay. Let's pop that to one side. We've got that, so we're just going to... So that's that done. Just excuse me while I sit down. So let's... And I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with that yet, but that's going to go there. We're going to do a bit of sponging. So what I want to try to do is give this a bit of a vintage look. Now I've got here a whole stack of old daubers, so let's just see what we've got. And we might start off with just putting a little bit of crumb cake on here and around our edges. Might use that one just to give that bit of a vintage sort of look. I've got no idea which track I'm heading down here, but anyway, we'll just keep going. Then what I would like to do is maybe add a little bit of Mary Morlow to it as well, also just around those edges. I'm just putting a bit of colour on my dauber and then just taking it off a little bit because I don't want too much. I just want a little bit of colour just to bring in some of that colour just around these edges here a little bit. And I'm just circling that on. Might just bring that crumb cake into in a little bit further in some of those areas. Just give that a little bit more depth just around those edges. Actually, what I might do is just flick this because that'll just give that nice darker Now I do want to colour these flowers up a little bit, but I don't want them too dark. I'm going to start with my Mossy Meadow. Don't think I've used that one. Excuse me. Now again, I'm just going to sponge some of that off because I really just want to put a little bit of colour. I don't mind going out of the lines, because with a sponge you're not going to really be that particular with the lines. Whoops, probably got a little bit too much there, but that's okay. We can work with that because somewhere along the line I've got to put the sentiment on. Again, we're just going to sponge some of that Mary Morlow just very lightly. Just those flowers. I'm thinking of maybe putting, now this is going to work or not work, so let's see. A little bit of the Night of Navy, but again I don't want to use too much. Most of these daubers I've got here are ready for the garbage bin, so I just want to lighten that right down as possible and just put a little bit of blue in the center of those flowers. Just use the edge of the dauber just to do that. And then I might come back in with some more crumb cake and just see if I can just soften, because I'm trying to get that vintage look, so I don't mind taking a little bit of the white out of the cardstock, because we want to age it a little bit. Now the reason why I'm not using, say, the brushes for this is because I've got a little bit more control with the dauber. Just taking that out to the, taking a little bit of that whiteness. Okay, now I want to come back in. Oh, that had the blue on it. Just trying to find the one that had the, it's the one, and probably putting a little bit more depth just around. Just flicking that a little bit, I think, is going to do that. Just flicking it in towards the center, just so I'm keeping the lightness at the ends of the flowers, but giving a little bit more depth in the center. Beautiful. So looks completely different to what we started with. So let's have a look, see what color we could matte this, because I was going to pop that onto there. Don't think I want to use Morlo, but I could actually even do my card base in that rather than matte that and matte that. Oh, come on, ladies. What do you think? Any ideas? I think I'm in desperate need of a new tablet. Oh, look, there's some. Oh, everyone's comments have just popped up. Okay, so we have Carol watching, and you're loving the vintage look. Thank you. Oh, they've just all faded away. Okay. So I just feels like it needs something, and I'm not quite sure what it needs. Whether it needs a, maybe something in the background as far as an embossed surface. Now I'm thinking maybe pretty flowers, or just go something quite basic as tasteful textures. Textiles, I should say. What else do I have here? No, that one's not suitable. Got a couple of others. Time worn could also work. Okay then, so I'm going to take that out of the road. And we're going to need, if you could just see me now, I've got stuff going everywhere. Okay, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I think we can get rid of that one. I think we might try the Time Worn Type, which is one of the ones in our mini catalogue. Now we need to cut that down. So let's have a look. So if we're going to, we've got this piece here, which is, it's actually 3 inches by 4 inches, or 7.5 centimeters, or thereabouts. It's actually 7.6 by about 10.3. So I want to make this about 10.3. If we go at 11.3, I want to give it quite a wide 12.3. So I'm basically adding 2 inches. So what did I say? This one was in the width, it was 7.6. So if we go 8.6, 9.6, let's have a look at that. So I want to give it a nice big border around it. Yeah, it's not quite in proportion to our card, is it? Okay. Okay then, so if we went, because that piece there, usually I like everything, well, same sort of measurements all the way around. Well, we haven't got that. So I'm not quite sure about that background. I want to bring in the crumb cake because it just sort of lightens everything, allows a lot of light in there. Okay, I'm going to toss that piece, cut this at 14.9, and then I'm going to cut this to, what I cut that at, 9.6. So let's have a look at, say, 9 centimeters. And I'm just going to take a little bit off this, not much. Should I get that? I know I need some new blades, but I just took such a little bit off. It's just cut that a little bit. So I'm just going to tidy this up. Just tidy that up just a fraction more. So I just want it to be exact on the width of this, or the length, and just that little bit top and bottom. Great. And we're going to need our plates. So we need our plate 1, and because we're using an embossing folder, we need our plate 4. And I'm going to have to do this off screen, so just have to bear with me 1 second. I'm also looking to what ribbon we're going to be needing. I'm sort of thinking maybe in one of the ribbons with some gold in it, possibly, or one of the lacy ribbons. So that can go onto there. Just giving that, put our lettering up the right way might be nice. And then that can go onto there. Now I'm liking that early espresso. And then we've got to put our For You. So I'm just using the one stamp out of this one that just says Just For You. And we're going to stamp that on a piece of the early espresso, I think. And then so we're going to have to just cutting a piece of that off there. Going to have to emboss that, so that's going to stand out. And I think we might do that in gold. So I've got my embossing inks here. And we need our gold. So there's our gold powder. We need our embossing buddy there. And underneath all my mess here, I have got my Versamark. And we need a block. So we line this all up. I hope you can all see this. I hope you're still getting it, because my computer just keeps stopping. So if we're not getting it, just let me know. We'll be posting this onto my YouTube channel probably sometime over the weekend. So I hope you're all seeing this okay, because my screen on my tablet has frozen. Now that could be because I think my tablet is getting a little bit old and it's not wanting to work for me. Hi Glenda. I hope you're not too late. I'm hoping everyone can still see this. I just got no idea at all. So we're just going to keep on going. And I need a scrap of paper. This will do. Well, at least I can tell my boys. I think I need a new tablet for my birthday or Christmas. Be closer. So let's see how we go with this. Let's put this powder back in to there. Managed to get powder everywhere, but that's okay. Nothing unusual. And we're just going to get the heat gun and heat that up. So there's going to be a bit of noise. And what this is going to do is it's going to heat set that embossing powder I've put onto there. So your Versamark acts like a glue, and it glues the powder, the gold powder down. And as you can see, as it heats up, it actually melts and adheres to the cardstock. So that's just our little bit of embossing there. Hi Renee, thank you for watching. I just sort of, that comment just sort of came into view, and then, or not comment, but your name came up and then just quietly disappeared. So I hope you're enjoying this. Now we're going to trim this down. I'm going to bring in my little guillotine again. It's such a pity we still don't sell these. They are a fantastic little tool, and I love my little guillotine. Now I'm just lining that up just under the just you, and I'm going to grab a post-it note to act like a little handle. Going to pop that underneath there and work out what width I want to cut this at. So we might just trim. Oh, it's probably a little bit crooked. So let me just line this up again, just seeing if I can just straighten off my sentiment a bit. That looks better. I'll take that handle off and pop it on the other side so I can trim this other side up. Let's have a look. I want to take just a fraction more off. I've got everything all straight, but I can make this a little bit narrower. Probably go a bit more. Because it's only such a little card. I don't want the sentiment too wide, because otherwise it's just going to take up or like cover all of the those flowers we've got there underneath. So that looks a lot better. So let me just get rid of that rubbish there. Okay, so let me just have a look and see how this is all coming together. So we're going to pop that there. And that's going to go on there, which is going to cover up that little bit too much green. So I think I can start popping some of this together. And then we've got to put a bit of ribbon on this. So you can see how you can use these memories and more cards, come up with something like these ones here. Not every set has the black and white imagery on the other side, but this particular set does. And you can see how we've taken something that's in a completely different colorway, and by using the black and white images, we've really changed the look of that card by giving that really old world sort of look. So what I'm thinking of doing now, and having that texture underneath, even though it's not lacy and it's not floral, it's not taking away from it at all, but and I think when I look at it, I have got my wording upside down, but anyway, that's okay, no one will know but us. So I'm going to put that, I think, onto some dimensionals. So let me just grab some of these. We'll use these up. Don't ever throw any of these things away. They come in very handy. So let's pop some dimensionals on the back. I am putting a few on here because I do want this to sort of stay firm with the textured cardstock underneath. I'm just going to pop one more at the top, just for good luck. Now I'm not thinking of actually wrapping the ribbon around and tying a bow, which is probably what I would normally have done. I'm thinking of just adding some bits underneath. So we're going to pop that. Now I did show card and ticket writing before I finished school, and one of the things that I was taught by the gentleman who taught me was you have a bigger area at the bottom and a smaller area at the top, and that's so then your lettering or your numbering that you're doing doesn't look like it's falling off your card or off the Okay, so we're going to need some ribbon, and I'm terribly sorry for that phone call. Everything is happening today. So there's our sentiment. So we've got our sentiment to go on there. I haven't cut that down yet. And I want a bit of ribbon, but I don't want anything that's too dark. I want to probably go towards a gold. Okay, just have to move a few things around to get to my ribbons. So I've got a couple of ideas there. I did have another little bit of an idea, and to add some extra gold into this. Just for the fact that we've got that little bit of gold, but it's the only place we've sort of got any gold happening, which is okay. But sometimes just to have that little bit extra. So let's have a look. And I'm going to do this. We might trim this down a little bit more. So just need another post-it note. Great thing to have on hand because they make great little handles. So I don't want this piece of gold here being too big. So all we're going to do is probably pop a little bit of that there, and maybe just to add that little bit of old world. I'm just going to give this ribbon a bit of a stretch because it's sort of a little bit curved on one side. It's probably just the way they put it in when they put it in the put it on the roll. They stretch it in one direction, and I'm just going to cut that at an angle there and cut this, I think, straight. Okay, let's just put a little bit of glue along the bottom. Just want to putting a little bit of glue there along the edge of my sentiment underneath, And I'm just going to stick that just on there. I just want a bit of that gold just popping out. Just holding that down for a minute, just so then that sort of sets a little bit. And I'm thinking of just taking that, just that little bit there, and that, trim that edge off there. So we could use that one. The other one we've got is this one here, which just looks like a I don't like that one, I don't think. Oh, hi, Bryony. Oh, I'm glad you love seeing me create. Okay, let's just... I'm really just following the lines of... That's going to go there like that, and then... Maybe I need that bigger piece. Let's just try that again. Always cut a bit more if I have to. Okay. I'm just going to grab some tear and tape here and put some tear and tape on the back of this ribbon. Doesn't always want to stay stuck to things like this too well. I might just, oops, that came off easily. Great, didn't think that was going to work. So I'm just going to use a bit of that just to, I want to go over there a bit. Under. And I'm not going to pop any dimensionals on this, just for the fact that it's already got a bit of height. There's height there with that ribbon. So hopefully with a wing and a prayer, this will just stick onto here. I might put a few little mini dimensionals across the top. Just a couple, just for the fact that I'm going to have that ribbon sitting off the edge there a little bit. So I just want a couple of these just along that top edge. So it's just going to cover the flat edge of the dimensional I'm putting with the flat edge of the against the flat edge of my sentiment, because I'm hoping that when I take those backings off, they might just actually, that tear and tape I put down will stick to the ribbon, but the dimensionals I hope will just be off the, I've got back off and no back off. Sometimes getting these backs off these dimensionals, especially the mini ones, with my fat fingers, don't really work too easily. So I just want those dimensionals actually sitting on the sentiment, on the card. Oops, I don't want it there. I want to move it over just a little bit. You know what? I'm going to grab another piece of ribbon because I'm just not happy with the length I've got there. I think I've made it too short, and that's okay. This is all a play. It's either going to work or not work. And I'm just going to cut another length of that. Now that's the curving I was talking about. I don't know whether you can see it. The ribbon wants to curve around, and it's probably been, when it's been put on the roll, it's been pulled tight on one side. So I'm just going to give that a yank, and I've got lots here, so I can cut that off. Now let's try this sentiment again. I just want it just sitting. That's better on top. And then this I'm going to cut, I think, there, and possibly can always cut a bit more off, because I really just want it to be, just to give that real old world sort of look. Now there's one thing I haven't done, and I'm going to grab a piece of crumb cake, just see if I've got a smaller piece here. No. Because we need to put something on the inside of this card so we can write on. So I'm going to cut this at, as I said before, I like to be able to cut these in half and then in quarters. And that way I can just cut this down. I want to cut this down to 10 centimeters by 14.4. And then we're going to grab our Merry Mallow. And again, just flick that. Just want to give that sort of aged look. I know usually to write on for the inside of the card, I usually use white or ivory, but that's okay because you can still write on crumb cake. It's still light enough that it's going to show up anything you write, of course. And I think what I might do is grab the stamp set that goes with the hand pen that goes with the cards, because I like to put a little bit of a floral image on the inside. And let's pull out the stamp. That big floral stamp. Maybe a bit too big. Let's have a look, see if I've got a smaller block. That will probably do. And I'm going to use Early Espresso. Just ink that all up. And all we're going to do is just in one corner, stamp that off there. We can come back in with our crumb cake, which I know is the same colour as our cardstock, but it's just going to give us green, actually. Put a little bit of green that's left on those daubers onto the leaves there. That one. I'm just going to put a little bit of, not too much, just a little bit of colour on that. Just sort of sponge it around a little bit. And another leaf there. Just want to put a little bit of green on that one. Just bringing a little bit of that crumb cake on top of that Mary Mallow, just to, again, just to age that a little bit. That's sort of that well-worn, aged look. Grab our card. Pop that inside there. All ready to be written on and sent out to somebody. Okay, so remove some of this rubbish around me a little bit, using For You, a Memories and More card. We've done some sponging, we've used some ribbon, lacy ribbon, and we've used our neutrals. Okay, so we're a little bit slow getting started with this card, but I'm actually really pleased with the way that turned out, and that was using the Memories and More cards from the hand-penned petals. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me just flip my camera over again. Won't be one moment. Okay, well, took us a little bit of time to get going and decide exactly what we're doing, but we did it. I can now see some comments. I'm glad you love it, Bryony. And thank you, Glenda. I'm glad you love the card also. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I think I'm going to have to invest in a new tablet soon. To look into that one and see what's going on. But again, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you have a lovely day. And remember, my details are at the top of this video with where you can purchase everything that I've used today at my online store, which is at michellejutrissa.stampingup.net. If you have any questions, please post them on here and I will get back to you and answer them. If you've left a comment, I will get back to you and reply to your comments as well. And thank you for watching me today, and remember, this will be on my YouTube and on my blog over the weekend. So bye for now, have a lovely day, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.